Welcome back, folks. We had the Dow Industrials finish up 2. NASDAQ was down 56. S&Ps were down 5. And we got a special guest for you today. We got our man, Mr. Nico de Haan. And, folks, Nico and Paige have an outstanding program every Tuesday, Thursday. Kick you off right in the morning, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you can get it right here at TFNN. Now, don't forget, if you happen to be on the West Coast driving in your car right now, on the East Coast in the Rocky Mountains, remember that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do live programming 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Tuesday, Thursday, 7 o'clock in the morning to 6 in the afternoon, all of it right on your cell phone. You go to TFNN.com, you hit Tiger TV. Nico and Paige get a great health program, 7 to 8, Tuesday and Thursday. Keep us healthy. And we're here to talk about the special that we put together, and specifically Primal Edge, which Nico and Paige put together.
Yeah, this is really, you know, one of the reasons that I did this, because I was always looking for something that could be just one shot.
Okay.
And most of the vitamins I took was morning vitamins, noon vitamins, you know, it was just too complicated for me. So when I started getting into the primal way of thinking, I really wanted to get the best vitamins. And I went to Mark Sisson, who was one of the great gurus of vitamins and the primal thing. And, you know, we were spending like $200–300 for vitamins. When we went to his, it was like $130. And it wasn't quite complete, so we had to add a little bit more. So we're probably spending a couple $100. And I says to Paige, I says, you know, we got to come up with something here to make it, you know, real easy for people. And we came up with something liquid. And the reason it's liquid is because everything really assimilates a lot better in your body.
Right. Well, here, I'm going to back up a little because, you know, what may happen out here, probably happening out here, is that, you know, there's plenty of folks that you may not have heard of Nico yet, okay? So I've been working out with Nico. And so picture Nico's taking all this, folks, and Nico doesn't have to take anything. That's the reality, okay? I've been working out with Nico now for 12 years, I think.
Yeah, definitely 12 years, at least 12
maybe
years.
14, okay?
Well, maybe 2001, 13. It was just after 2001.
Yeah, and what are we now?
16, we're going on 17.
Okay,
man.
So, oh my God, so it's longer than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so my point here is that I know we started out with talking about Primal Edge, but I probably should have talked about Nico first, okay? The bottom line, the guy's healthy beyond belief. He's a black belt. I've been lucky enough to work out with him because he lived right down the street from me, and well, his gym was right down the street from me, and I still work out with him just about all the time. Okay, so, and he's always taking these vitamins. So now you and Paige got together.
Yeah, so Paige and I got together. We have this nice show, and we're really talking about health. She's really the expert as far as what vitamins to take and things like that.
That stay in your system, probably.
Yeah,
right?
Well, not only that, is a lot of it, you know, you urinate out.
Okay.
You see the yellow, you know, and you're thinking, am I wasting my money?
Right.
How come this stuff is not affecting me the way it should be affecting me?
Right.
And we know everything starts with the food, but you got to realize that everything that you put in your body has a dramatic effect.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted something that was a liquid, and Paige said, well, I have a scientist who is really delving into the humic and fulvic acids, and I really didn't know about it, so I started reading about that and some of the literature she gave me on humic and fulvic. These are two items that work in conjunction with each other. One lets the good stuff in, and the other one takes the bad stuff out.
Okay.
When we take the bad stuff out, we it's kind of like charcoal, and charcoal has this ability of surrounding.
Really good for you, huh?
It's really good for you because it surrounds toxins and allows it not to enter your body. It's in your body, but it's encapsulated, and it takes it out of you.
Really interesting.
Yeah. So that's what the fulvic acid does. It takes all your toxins out.
Really?
The humic lets whatever is along with this in this Primal Edge, and if you look at the label, hundreds of things are in here.
Right.
And this lets it into the cells, so there's an ionic resonance there that tells the cell, open up and let me in.
Okay.
And there's also a discharge. Yeah, kind of like that.
Right.
So it made it really easy for me. Very expensive to manufacture.
Yeah.
Because the ingredients are all just organic. They're all the best you can get.
Sure.
But much cheaper than what I was paying. You know, I was spending $200 a month on vitamins. I said, this is ridiculous. So we got something here for $89. Beautiful thing right now, folks. $25 off your first bottle. So to get you started on this is so important, because once you start taking it, you're going to realize this is really good for you. Most people know it immediately.
Okay.
You know, so you start
We've
taking
got a few emails like that.
Oh, we do.
Which is really cool.
Yeah,
Wow,
and you know, if you get one email, there's probably 100 people out there that are not telling you.
Yeah.
You know, they usually just tell you the bad things.
No, I better start taking it, huh?
You haven't started taking
I know.
this?
He said, you know, I told Nico this.
Jesus.
So picture this, folks, okay? This is wicked. This really is wicked.
The truth comes out.
Well, you know what it is? I just don't take vitamins.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take them. I'm
Okay.
going to start today. I'm going to kick it off for a month, and I'm going to start it. Why not? You know?
And the real advantage is if your diet is really good, this just kicks it 100 times over.
Right.
So, you know, even if your diet is just mediocre, it's going to help you. If your diet's no good, it may help you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you really have to start out with good food to begin with. You have to get the poisons out. And
Right.
know that all the packaged food, prepared food, and things like that is not my recommendation. for
Stay
health.
out of the middle of the aisles. That's
Stay out of
for
the
sure.
middle of the aisles, and if you can afford it, go organic and
Yeah.
find animals and plants that are really treated very well. In other words, the animals have to eat the food that they're genetically made up to eat.
Right.
You can't feed a cow grain and expect it to be healthy.
Right.
Because grain is going to make them sick. It makes us sick,
Yeah.
even though you don't realize it at first because it's a slow process.
Because
But with a cow,
grain turns into sugar, right?
well, it does turn into sugar, but there's a lot of toxins in grain. Remember, grains are seeds, and seeds don't want to be eaten. They want to be swallowed whole.
Okay.
So when it goes out the other end, it's got fertilizer ready to grow.
Okay.
But if you grind them up like we do,
Yeah.
remember, this is a seasonal food.
Right.
Seeds are there a very short time. And we've genetically engineered these from eons ago to hold them in a capsule. Because most seeds, the first thing they do, as soon as they become liable, they spread out.
Right.
And that's what the plant wants. So we've changed everything, and that's not good food. Good food is something that's living,
Right.
and a seed is not alive yet.
You're right. When it sprouts, you can eat it. That's the bottom line.
That's it. Then it's
great.
alive.
That's a sprout.
It's held in stasis
Yeah.
before that. Seeds, nuts, everything like that is very hard for us to digest unless we do some kind of process. And if you listen to the show, we've talked about this on endless times.
Right.
There's certainly processes that our ancestors devised because they were forced to eat these secondary foods.
Okay.
The first food is always the animal or some plants if you know what you're doing.
Right.
You know, going out in the forest and picking up plants, not a good idea unless you know exactly what that
Yeah.
plant is going to do because
Yeah.
there's a lot of poisons.
Yeah.
You may pick something that gets you high and you don't want that.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
I
may.
yeah, or you may. You know, there's plenty of that going on too. But
Yeah.
and the same with alcohol. I'm sure we never had alcohol when we were cavemen.
Right.
Somewhere along the line, we picked up a fermented fruit and goes, "Whoa, this is pretty good. Let's make it
Interesting.
better."
Yeah, right.
You know, so
right.
there's a lot of things. Anyway, I'm here for the Primal Edge, and I just encourage everybody to let's get started on this. Tom's even getting started. It blew my mind when you said you.
I know.
you
Well,
didn't-
when you started, I think I did it for a couple of days, and then who knows?
Yeah.
I know. Shame on me.
I understand. Hey, it
Terrible.
happens to all of us, and
Yeah.
sometimes I forget to take it. And when I'm not feeling quite right, I'll take a double shot. In other words, in the
Okay.
in the evening, I'll take a shot. So, folks, we've had a lot of conversation with people about this.
And the way
we
it
really
works,
like
folks, is this. Okay, this is quite a deal. Okay, so we're calling it the Primal Edge Healthy Holiday Special. You're taking $25 off. This is the last day for it. And this includes free shipping, folks, okay? And it costs us $10 to ship it. So you pay $64 for the first month. And guess what? Your health is more important than anything, man.
That's right. You can't keep trading if
and
you're
folks,
not healthy.
listen to this program. It's an awesome program, okay? Stay right there. Nico and I come right back. And remember, folks, every Tuesday, every Thursday, 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning, it's an outstanding show. Now, that show is archived, too. And if you really want to understand your health, you want to listen. Because what happens is that what's so cool is that you guys dig into just how your actual system works. Okay? And what you have here, folks, yes, today we're talking about Primal Edge. We want you to buy it. No doubt.
Yeah.
Okay? But guess what? You're talking about an hour twice a week that the thing isn't getting pushed. What's getting pushed is a huge education. Like we're giving you financial education. Nico and Paige will give you an amazing education on health because I love listening to it. I mean,
well, one of the things that I always say, too, is that we have a real disconnect on food and us because we really don't know what it takes to bring a piece of food from the wild
yeah,
into making it edible.
sure.
Okay, so we have no knowledge of this at all, and thousands of years ago, you had to have that knowledge, otherwise you'd
Right.
die.
Right.
So this brings up a dilemma Because if the modern system that we have breaks down, there is no connection to getting food. Because once the trucks stop, the food is gone in 3 days.
Right.
Okay, so now where do you get it? We don't even have any areas to get the food because there's no wild areas very close. So what do we eat? Dogs and, rats? No. I mean, that's a real dilemma. So
We live at the water, thank God.
yeah, we have fish.
I have
but
a fishing
imagine
pole.
in Arizona someplace, there's not a lot of food there. So we have a real disconnect. We don't know really what it takes to do that.
Right.
So I think that's really important. That's why I started digging into living a primal lifestyle and wondering how the American Indian, before the white man came, how did they have the knowledge to keep doing that? Because we don't have that knowledge anymore. There are hunters out there that know this
Sure,
thing.
right.
But we really, the everyday person, and I don't, if I'm throwing in the wild, I may know a little bit more than the average person, but could I survive out there? I haven't tested that.
Well, what's wild, folks, is that when you hear these commercials, like today coming into the office, right, one of the fast food joints, great deal, man. We got to get down there right now. You get 3 pancakes for 89 cents.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine, picture, what the heck is in a pancake for 89 cents?
Well, there's not much.
No, that's my point. I guess what would even be worse is that the burger for $1. I mean, that's going to be a worm burger.
Well,
if it was a worm burger, it'd be a bit better, actually.
Like let's take a McDonald's or something like that. They say 100% beef. It's probably 47% beef because that's what the law allows them to say.
Okay.
But that piece of meat, if you just ate that, you could subsist on that and be pretty healthy.
Okay.
It's the stuff that's around it. It's the French fries, it's the bread, it's the sauce, and then it's the Coca-Cola that goes along with it. That kills the meal. Right. So if you just had the patty itself, have 2 or 3 patties for lunch or breakfast, that wouldn't be that bad.
Okay.
Because the nutrients from at least a little bit of that meat is enough to sustain you. But the bread has no nutrients in it. They tell you the 100% wheat is much more flavorful and much more nutrition. No, it's not true. There's no nutrition in it.
Right.
These are all lies. There's no nutrition in any kind of grain. Period. You can make it go along with something that's good.
Okay.
And take the bad stuff out of it, like ferment it or let it sour. Yeah. Like sourdough bread, and then you have at least a little bit of nutrition. But most.
And why does that happen when it's sourdough bread? How do you get nutrition out of that?
Well, because the souring process. Mold? It makes the mold, and the mold is the thing that digests the rest of the food for you.
Okay.
See, we're omnivores, and we need a certain bacteria in us to digest plant food, and we need things that we can't digest, like insoluble fiber that is in grains, and the seeds themselves that are ground up with all these anti-nutrients in them. They take the nutrients out of our body just to digest it.
They do, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you're eating bread a lot, we used to eat bread. I remember when we first moved to Canada from Holland, we were introduced to bread. We didn't have much bread in Holland.
Oh,
a little
really?
bit. Not like
you didn't
here.
have Italian bread? Oh,
no,
man.
we didn't. Well, we may have had French bread or Belgian bread or something like that. But we only ate it maybe with a little bit of a meal or something. We didn't have lunches like we did. I remember breakfast and I remember dinner. I didn't remember much lunches until you started going to school.
I used to love coming home from school, folks. So picture, I'd come home from school, and some days that we had a lot of bakeries near us. They just made big Italian loaf of bread.
Oh, I love that.
With a pound of butter. I'd eat a stick of butter.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just
on my way to school, in primary school, I was probably in the 2nd, 3rd grade. We have to walk past the bakery.
Exactly.
And then you'd smell it. And they have the racks out there. And we'd steal a piece of bread and go in the woods and eat.
Right.
That's
it's
one
like
of the things
crack.
we did.
I know.
Yeah.
No, it really is, man. So, and of course, what we've found from now, since we've been kids to now, the sugar content is killing everyone, right?
Everything is sugar except animal food.
Okay.
We have 3 macronutrients. We have the protein, we have the fat, and we have the carbohydrates.
Okay.
So plant food is mostly carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Animal food is mostly protein and fat.
Okay.
Fat is fuel. Carbohydrates can be used fuel too, but carbohydrates are stored in your muscles. So if you have a lot of carbohydrates and store in your muscles are gone. Now it has to put it into your fat cells because there's no other place to put it.
Stay right there, folks. Nico and I are coming right back. We're going to keep you healthy right now. Right now. Right here. Welcome back, folks. We're talking about our man, Mr. Nico de Haan. And don't forget, folks, if you're just joining us, Nico and Paige have a great show right here every Tuesday and Thursday. We kick you off first thing in the morning, so you're going to be out there nice and healthy all day long, trading, investing, 7 to 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Get it right on your cell phone at tfnn.com. And Nico and Paige have this product, this Primal Edge. It's a great product, folks. We've been doing a promotion on it this month. It's Healthy Holiday Special. Save $25 this month. So check it out on the front page of TFNN. It's a great product. Bottom line is that the first month is only $64 for the product, and that's including shipping. It costs us $10 to ship it. So check it out on the front page of TFNN.
And this is the last day.
This is the last day.
Yeah.
This is the last day for that special. We were just talking about McDonald's, and this is pretty amazing, folks, okay? The inventor of the Big Mac passed away today, which is a shame. The guy was
98, 96, something like that? Yeah, he must have not been eating too many of those Big Macs himself.
Well, he's just probably eating the meat, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, let's go through this. This is pretty cool. The inventor of McDonald's iconic Big Mac had died today. Michael Delgado, maybe?
Yeah.
Known as Jim, died in Pittsburgh, 98 years old. So check this out. This is pretty amazing. He made the Big Mac. So he was one of the first franchisees, folks, in 1957. And he was in Pennsylvania, which is a huge steel town, of course, uptown. He made the sandwich. Delgado had made the sandwich by combining 2 all-beef patties, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, as well as the secret sauce. And we're both, Nico and I I think everyone always loved Big Macs.
Oh, yeah. They were wonderful. And in the old days, that the fries that are so good.
Oh, I love those fries.
They were fried in lard.
Yeah, okay.
Because everybody was using lard when you had your pizza joint.
Right.
I'm sure you were frying everything in lard.
Oh, you did.
And there's a neat story because the companies who had the Crisco and the canola oils and things like that gave the franchisees a year's free oil if they would just switch from lard to these manufactured oils.
Wow.
And that's how they got in the door. That's how inexpensively it is to manufacture these oils. And most of those oils, the primary one that they were used at first was cottonseed oil.
Okay.
Used in industrial machinery and things like that.
No, this is a great point. Okay, so
these are the kind of things that are in our food today, and that's really what made me start thinking about my health, is saying, I don't want any foreign things in there that I don't know about in my food. So how do I find that out?
Right, because canola oil, right? My perception of canola oil when it started, it was supposedly all the hippies were started, so it was supposed to be something that was good for you. But canola oil is the crap, right?
Well, canola is one of the worst because it's made from the rapeseed, and the rapeseed was used in industry, highly acidic. And to get that out of that plant, they use a high process of high heat and chemicals to extract it. Those chemicals are still in the oil.
Really?
Even though they sanitize it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the same thing if you go to a factory farm and you actually watch the process of how they clean the beef and the chickens. They use ammonias and all kinds of detergents, and all this thing stays in the food somewhere along the line.
Wow.
So our food has changed so much in these last 50 to 75 years after World War II. All these manufacturers and TV started coming along where you could actually advertise on a large scale and get a large population. So now the profitability of food was primary, because how do we move this stuff? Because everybody's making their own stuff. We have to make it for them.
Right.
So we went from knowing what our food was to not knowing what our food was through these processes. Kind of what happened to our health care too. We used to just go to the one doctor that took care of pretty much everything, and gave them some homeopathic stuff that our grandmother had, and most of the time our grandmother or grandfather knew the stuff that worked.
Right.
And we were pretty healthy. And one of the things that got me is, as I grew older, I started getting these seasonal flus and getting the colds. And I said, why is this happening? When I was young, that never happened.
Okay.
And it can't be just old age.
Right.
So it has to be the environment or the food. It has to be what we're taking in, whether it's the air, the water, or anything else. It has to be the food. So food is the first thing I always looked at. Even when I was in my teens, I really looked at food, and I went through different stages of being a vegetarian and trying different things. And it took me to 10 years ago before I really found and was satisfied with what I'm doing is the right path because of how I feel.
And one of the first things that, when Nico was turning me on to it too, folks, is it's a trip, is that, you get butter. And thank God, I love butter. And guess what? It's great for you. You just got to get the right kind of fat butter,
well,
right?
we had this phobia about fats because of Ansel Keys, who 50 years ago said that, there's a big correlation between eating fat and getting fat and having heart disease.
Okay.
Which was totally false, and we really didn't find out about it till 30 years ago. As far as, mainstream things, there's all kinds of new surveys. The Manhattan survey was the latest one that disproved that whole theory.
Right.
Then all the things that we were doing before, eating fat as fuel and being fuel, fat burners, is the path to health. It's the path to defeating diabetes and cancer and all these little seasonal things that we get, and ADD and all these brain things, the Alzheimer's, what the kids are getting, autism. It has to be what they're taking in. It's not genetic, even though they try to tell you it's genetic.
And so one of the keys, so my understanding is one of the keys is that you want your system to be working off fat versus working off sugar, right?
Yeah. The latest science, and I'm not going to get in why, but the latest science is saying the time you spend burning sugar versus the time you spend burning fat, one is towards sickness and dying, miserable death, and the other one is towards health. So the more time you spend in burning fat, the more you're getting rid of the poisons, and the more time you spend burning sugar, which 90% of the people in the United States are doing right now, that's the lead to cancer and all these ailments that you get over and over again and seems to be persisting, whether it's dandruff, whether it's your skin is bad, or you have aches and pains all the time because you think you're getting old. It's not necessary. I'm 72 years old. I feel great every day. It's because of what I eat.
Right.
And, of course, the Primal Edge is the kicker right there.
Right. It's wild, man. It really
it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
And you don't get hungry.
Right. No,
you're not a slave anymore to food.
No, you're not. And I've been doing this forever. So it's the same thing. There's no doubt. And I've been a vegetarian twice. But first year was for 4 years. And, then I just got too gray. It was really just, I had to go back.
Yep.
And I'm a meat hound. There's no doubt, man. I'm definitely a meat hound.
It satisfies you. It's a quick meal. It digests the easiest. It's the first thing that digests in your body. The last things are always the hardest things, and those have to be your greens and especially the grains and things like that. They take a long time to digest, and a lot of it doesn't digest. It's insoluble fiber.
Right.
That tells you the story right there. Your body can't do anything with it. It has to get rid of it.
Insoluble fiber.
Yeah. There's soluble fiber, which your body absorbs, but then there's insoluble. It doesn't, and they're recommending to take this.
Okay.
And I took it for years, thinking I was doing good. When I stopped, all of a sudden, all my problems went away.
Yeah, right. Right.
So then that's a big eye-opener, It's a nice journey, and once you've gone past it, and the healthier you are, the easier it is to make that switch.
Right.
It's harder for people who've been on the wrong path.
Right.
So I always tell people,
start, right?
Do your own investigation.
Right.
You have to do this for yourself to get that quality of life, especially after you're 70. You
stay right there, folks. Nico and I are coming right back. Welcome back, folks. Nico, Haan, Tom OBrien. Don't forget, folks, guess what? December 1st tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's also Thursday tomorrow.
Yeah.
7 o'clock in the morning. They can kick it off right here with Nico and Paige. Right on your cell phone, folks. You just go to TFNN.com. You hit Tiger TV. Nico and Paige are going to keep you healthy. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
That's right.
So now let's talk about tonight in the market. This is what we have in the market tonight, folks. The dollar is what you want to keep your eye on. So if we go overseas and we look at the Nikkei first. So the dollar index right now is trading out here at 106.625. It couldn't hold the highs of the last 2 days. You had lighter volume, and what that sets up, folks, is that it sets up a test of the low that was generated out here on Monday. Now, if you break that low, which is 100.675, the odds are that you're going to go back inside 100.60, 600, 100.600. And I know these are a lot of numbers, but I want you to wrap your head around them. The reason being is that this is what's going to rule the roost for the next year. You know, we've been in the same consolidation. If you're watching Tiger TV, we've been in the same place since March of 2015. So you can, if you make the case that you want a stronger dollar, that's great, because the bottom line is that means you can go anywhere in the world and our currency's worth a lot of money and everything gets inexpensive. That's the bull case. The bear case is that, guess what? You're not going to sell a lot of product. That's the other side of it.
Wow.
So that's one case. Now, the other side of that case, a consolidation down to 91 is not the end of the world, you know. But what you do have is this: that consolidation down to 91. What that would do is that would release the aspect of the commodity market to move to higher price. And what I expect we're also going to see here, and this is where it gets dicey in the aspect of the broad market. The bottom line is that it looks like all these markets were at an inflection point right now. Specifically what that is that you had the Dow breakout, you had the NASDAQ breakout, which failed today. NDX couldn't make it happen, meaning it didn't get to the highs, okay? That situation there is saying it wants lower price. The interest rate structure is the biggest deal out of all of this. So if we look at these interest rate structures quickly, technically, to me, the bonds want to go back up, interest rates want to go back down. Fundamentally, guess what? Why should we be paying 2.3% on a 10-year note, you know, when France is a mess and they're paying 0.7%? Germany's in good shape, but they're only paying 0.2%. Italy's a mess. They're broke, and they're paying 1.9%. So the key here to get your head wrapped around is this. It's a supply and demand issue. So when I look at the yields, it makes zero sense that people saying, oh, well, the rates are going to keep going up. Well, it doesn't make any sense the rate's going to keep going up. And the reason being, folks, is that every piece of money in the whole world would come to the United States. Because you have two different things happening. The dollar would be going up, and the yields are going up. And guess what? That's not how fundamentally it works, okay? You know, bottom line is that it's just not how it works. So what I see happening here is that this yield is going to go back up, down again, and the price is going to go up. If we do go over and we take a look at the 30-year, and this is a big heads up on this one. So the 30-year bond has been in the largest bull market that most of us alive have ever seen. This started in 1981. 1981.
Wow. Bonds
are trading at 55 cents. So that means at 55 cents, that means you had a $100 bond, U.S. Treasury. You only paid $55 for it, and they were paying 14%. Okay?
I remember those days.
Yeah, exactly. Bottom line, folks, the 30 years have not broken a lower swing point yet. And I don't think they're going to. Always remember, folks, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows. Have a great night. Have a safe night. Join Nico, Paige, tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. Thanks so much.
Pick up some Primal Edge.